Welcome back, everyone. This is the FloTrack podcast, day 4 recap. I am Kevin Sully. He is Gordon Mack.
Me.
The FloTrack podcast can be reached at the following places: FloTrackPodcast@gmail.com. You can subscribe on the YouTube page, find the audio wherever you listen to downloads. We got an email, by the way, said our audio is too low, and when this gentleman turns it up, he gets a really loud next podcast because he had to turn it up so high for us. So we need to fix that.
So we need to go turn this up right here?
No, I just think in general, the audio, in post, we need to touch it up. We can talk about it offline.
No, it's not in post. We do it now.
I take severe offense to that. We are at almost full
you're
volume. I have no idea what this guy's
talking
talking
on Colt
about
right now.
No,
to his face.
I'll forward you the email, Cole. In any event.
So we can turn this volume up like this. Watch this. Ready?
Don't do that.
Louder
don't do
now?
that. No. That
Oh,
doesn't
don't do
happen.
that. Okay. Sorry.
We need to touch it up in post. It's fine. We'll figure it
I'm
out.
not going to touch it up in post. How do I touch up?
I'm going to do it because I'm, again, like we talked about before.
You care about the fans.
I'm a professional.
You're a professional.
All right. Women's 1500 was today. Women's marathon was this morning. We have the men's steeplechase. We have the Heptathlon. We also have the high jump, women's triple jump, and we have some 200-meter heats to discuss. Let's start first, though, with the women's 1500, the last race of the meet. I was confident Faith Kipyegon would win. So confident, in fact, I said if Faith Kipyegon lost, I would run all out to the streets of Eugene for the amount of time that the winner ran, which I estimated somewhere around 3 minutes and 50 seconds, which if you saw me trying to catch my flight, no, that would be a tough feat. But I don't need to do it. Why? Faith Kipyegon delivered again. Gordon, this went fast from the gun. Fast.
Did not expect it. And it wasn't Faith who was doing it either.
Right. They wanted to run the kick out of her. The Ethiopians did, led by Gudaf Sagai, up there, really making a hard charge up front. And it didn't work. It did not work. They went out 203 through 800. There was a group of 4 that broke away. It was 2 completely separate races. There was so much daylight between the first group and then the chase pack. I thought at one point, said, this pace is so quick, there's going to be a medalist from that backpack. I don't know. Did you feel that way? That they would fall enough hard times up front that someone would come up and make a move?
The race played out how I thought it was going to happen. I just didn't think 3 women would all be able to, 2 women with Faith would be able to handle, 1,400 of those meters.
Yeah.
But they were able to. They were able to handle the majority of it. Laura Muir, they were all able to just stay in there. They weren't going to beat Faith, but they were able to do it for medals. They were basically putting themselves in it, getting themselves a chance to medal. The rest of the field was kind of like, hey, maybe I should have risked it. Maybe I should have gone. Do you think any of those others in the back of that, that second group, like the Sinclair Johnsons, the, Jessica Halls, should have tried to do what Laura Muir did and try to hold on?
I think it would have been just physically tough for them. Some people are not able to run that style and hang on. Yeah. I think it could have been worse for them. They could have finished, in last place or something. I think they did the best strategy for them. It's just 352.9, 354.5, 355.2.
It's fast.
Yeah, that's fast across the board.
Oof.
I remember the 2019 Doha World Championship race where Sifan Hassan was out there pushing the pace, and it was crazy fast. This was pretty similar to that. The difference was some people just fell apart because it was so quick. The pacing was so crazy. And you saw at one point, Sagai kind of got frustrated with Kipyegon. I think she wanted her to take over, but Faith Kipyegon's not going to do that. I mean, it took you about 400, 500 meters to realize this was not going to end well for anybody except for Faith Kipyegon, because all it turned into was them rabbiting for her. She was right where she needed to be. She withstood that early surge. Obviously, she covered all of it, and it was just like, I'm going to wait until 400, 300 to go. I'm going to make my move. And it was night, basically.
You said on the pre-podcast, which we do, an Instagram live from 8:05 up into the podcast, we ran into Seb Coe. Seb Coe made a cameo appearance. So check out the Instagram on the ITV. But you said when we were talking about Faith Kipyegon, you referred to her as the greatest miler ever.
Women's miler of all time.
Yeah, women's miler.
Yeah.
So you stand by that?
Yeah, I thought she was the greatest even before this. She's got gold 2017 World Championships, gold today. So 2 World Championship golds, and then 2 golds from the Olympics, Rio and Tokyo. You go and you look at her times and what she's done in the 1500 and the mile. She's run 351.07, which is the 4th best of all time. She's run 352.5. She's run 353, 353.
So
I mean,
it's not Dababa.
No, it's not Dababa. Dababa
She's
is
the
one
world record.
She's got one global medal, one
got
gold medal.
She got the world record. She has the fastest time ever.
I don't care.
You don't care about the world record?
1 second. The Baba is only 1 second faster all time, and Faith Kipyegon has 4 gold medals. It's not close. Faith Kipyegon is the greatest women's miler of all time, and we're seeing it right now. And she's just adding to her legacy every time she steps on the track and takes whatever field, like whatever the field brings to her. She just takes it and spins it right back, and it's like, that's fine. Give me your fast pace. Give me your slow pace. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna handle all of it. I'm gonna win again and again.
DH wants to know, what was Kipyegon's reaction time? Was it over or under 0.1?
I mean, they got out pretty quick. It was definitely over 0.1. Otherwise, we would be having another discussion. But it was ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, Gonzaga about a world record, but 1 1,500-meter gold medal. 4 is greater than 1. This isn't complicated.
That's not complicated. But 350 is faster than 350.
Right. But we're not really going to have a discussion about the world record holder in every event being the greatest of all time, are we? Is that how?
No, I'm just trying to play a great podcast partner and
that was good.
Be devil's advocate.
Great, wonderful. Let's talk about some other results in that race, though, because you had Sagai and Muir get the medals. Hailu got 4th. Inoue of Poland was 5th, and then Sinclair Johnson 6th, Jessica Hall 7th, and then Corey McGee in 10th. For the U.S. It just was a tough race when the thing gets blown open that early in the race.
Yeah, you know, you don't really. It's kind of like, it's also mentally frustrating because then like, oh, there's no chance I'm ever going to even be in the conversation for a medal in the final 300. Like the race was over, their medal chances were just like gone right away, and so then you have to like recalibrate. Now you're like, all right, I'm going to run an all-out 1500. Or the difference between a 5th place or an 8th place finish.
Yeah.
And that kind of changes your mindset. So for, Sinclair, she got 6th, still great impressive. Nicole Hawker was 6th in the men's 1500 last year, wasn't he?
At the Olympics, yeah.
So back-to-back milers for the U.S. finishing in the top 6, pretty cool there. And, Corey McGee making another final. This wasn't a race for McGee or Johnson to medal in. They're not what Laura Muir is.
There was an era when you'd go to the championships and a 1500 would be tactical.
Yeah.
And then anybody could win and you can take advantage of it. This is not that era for women's 1500 meter running. Whether or not it's Kipyegon, whether or not it's Hassan, whether or not it's Sagai, they're not going to lay back. It's just not going to happen. And I think the men are going to do something similar. The men have been doing something similar. Maybe not as aggressive because it's hard to imagine what more aggressive would be. You'd have 6 DNFs if it got any more aggressive because people would just be stopping and curling up in a little ball on the track. But they're just not. Faith Kipyegon's not going to cede the territory of I'm the best 1500 meter runner to find out who's the best 800 meter runner with a 700 meter jog before it. She's too smart for that. She's not going to do it.
Do you think the men's race is going to play out in a similar fashion?
Yeah. So I don't think it's going to be as extreme in terms of the pace. But look at who you have in there who likes to push the pace. So let's just assume Kerr doesn't based on his, I'm just going to, sit and kick. But he is a guy who will push the pace. Kipyegon, Kipsang, Cheruiyot, Stuart McSwain, for sure. So you have 4 guys.
You mean Ingebrigtsen?
Who did I say?
Kipyegon. Is Kipyegon, is she doubling back and running the men's 1500?
They better watch out if she is. Let me try that again. Ingebrigtsen, Kipsang, Cheruiyot, McSwain all like to push the pace. And it's going to go. I mean, that's how it was in Doha, Tokyo. We're in this new era of 1500 meter running internationally at championships where they're not waiting. Now, again, is it possible that it's tactical because something gets screwed up? Yeah, for sure. But I think I would bet on under 330.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it's looking.
Yeah.
We're seeing it here on the women's side. Could see it happen on the men's side.
Yeah.
It's steeplechase, the other track final right beforehand. What was, how many men are in the field?
There were 15.
15. What were the 14 other runners thinking? How can 14 runners all be equally dumb?
Well, speaking of tactics, you don't normally see a tactical 1500.
Yeah.
Or sorry, you don't normally see a tactical steeple in a championship or really in any race because people are worried about their own safety and they want to be able to see the barriers. I think I saw, this could be wrong, I think I saw 257 for the first K, which would have been 851 pace, which is insane. Everybody was in it. I was worried for their safety, with that water jump, 2 to go, because they were going really fast and they all were there. There were some people falling at some point. There was a cameraman on the track at some point that they had to run around. It was incredibly chaotic. But you're right. The end result is the guy who can kick, the guy who can close, delivered with Must have been so happy.
He was probably freaking out the entire time. Like, they cannot be serious. They cannot be just handing me the title like this.
Yeah.
He's like, there's got to be some other play here. He probably was like, maybe they're trying to double negative him and make him overthink it. It's like, yeah, we're going to make it so easy for you. You're going to screw it up. But I will say this. There's been great steeplers out there. There's been greatest of all times. I'm not calling El Bakali the greatest of all time.
No, you shouldn't.
But I am going to call him. He is the greatest final lap water barrier of all time.
Better than Kemboy?
You watch the final barrier.
Yeah.
It is night and day. It looks like he is Carson Warholm going over a hurdle. It is insane. Yeah. His final water barrier, he gets 2 strides on everyone every single time. He got 2 strides on everyone. He does it in the Diamond League. He's doing it in the Global Championships. He is the greatest final water barrier, and I would take him over anyone else. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that way? Did you think that was like his final water barrier was just like? Well, it looked like he was triple jumping.
It was hard to separate that from just his kick because he was going so much faster, and just the total domination that we expected and that we saw over the last lap of the race. Yeah. But I just remember Kemboy years ago just being able to really move off of that barrier. But yeah, it's stark. He's skilled over the barriers, and you combine that just with the top end speed.
Watch back the replay. So go on YouTube, whatever, and you'll find we got some spam in the chat. We're gonna ban this user.
All right, there we go. While we do that, Evan Jager, U.S. fans, got 6th. I asked him, hey, would you have taken that a couple months ago? He said, yeah, but nevertheless, he was still disappointed. Didn't like the way he raced just because it was so slow. It was so tactical. Hillary Bohr gets 8th for the United States. So the U.S. goes 6 and 8. You want to jump over to Heptathlon, or do you want to talk about the 200 prelims?
Let's say the 200 prelims for the end of the pod. So if you're tuning, so we can build up our audience because I'm sure they're excited to hear. If you're listening to the Instagram live, there's some interesting quotes coming out from the 200-meter men that I think we need to dive into in detail.
I don't actually know what these are.
Gordon
did not tell me.
I've been waiting.
I interviewed Arian Knighton, and there wasn't really too much there.
This came from Joseph Fambule, and it came from Noah Lyles.
Gotcha. All right. Colton says, I noticed the final barrier too, Gordon.
Thank you.
Colton has got your back.
He's got it. He saw it. There was like an audible gasp from the crowd. Did you not hear the gasp when he went over the barrier? Everyone's like, wait, what just happened? Did he have like a rocket attached to a shoe? It was insane. Women's heptathlon, Belgium wins. I don't know how to say her name.
Nafi Tiam. 69.47 passes Vetter on the last event. Vetter rose 68.67. Anna Hall gets the bronze. 67.55, runs a 206. 800 to claim bronze, hold her bronze medal position. What a run for Hall. TM wins another global championship. I think people thought she was for sure going to be in the mix, but very, very compelling women's heptathlon competition. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, another Bowerman nominee winning a world medal.
Yeah,
saw Cameron Rogers do it in the hammer. Anna Hall now getting it here in the heptathlon. Abby Steiner, we'll talk about her later in the pod. Yeah. Looked good in her prelims. She might have a chance to get it in the 200. So, as you know, the controversy, Jasmine Moore versus these other three are making it really hard to take them off the list because of how great they are, not just in the NCAA, but against the rest of the world.
I don't think they're going to take anybody off the list, though. I think they've finalized the list.
I don't think finalized, but
change it, make an addendum. Let's talk about women's triple jump. Yulimar Rojas, very good.
She's very good.
It was when she finally got everything together on that one jump.
Second jump. Just all this.
Okay.
All right, it's over.
Yeah.
Once you see 15, you're like, okay, competition's over. Let's go home. That's how it felt.
15.47. Ricketts of Jamaica, 14.89. Tori Franklin gets another medal for the U.S., 14.72.
What's our medal count now?
Good jump by her. It should be 15, I believe. Total.
Medal table, we're at 16.
16.
We were talking about this last night when we were going to Tracktown Pizza. Like, could U.S. get, like, a record-breaking amount of medals. They're at 16 now.
Yeah, we counted. Low 30s is possible. I'd be surprised if they didn't crack 30. Something bad would have to happen in the back half of the meet, because you're talking about some potential sweeps as well when you look at the men's 200.
Plus 4 relays.
Yes, exactly. So let's keep it moving here. Men's high jump, pretty exciting competition. Barshim is back. 237. Wu of Korea, 235. And Protsenko of Ukraine, 233. Tamberi was 233 as well. Gets 4th. Shelby McEwen of the U.S. was 5th.
Put $100 on Wu to win, and I lost. I thought I had it. He was perfect through it, and then he missed on like the 233 jump. But Barshim, who wasn't jumping much at all this season, basically was able to be like, hey, I don't need to jump regular season. I'm the best.
I'm good
I
now.
can come in without, many reps under my belt and still put together a 235, 237 type performance. And Barshim, he's the greatest high jumper of all time.
Are you just doing this now?
Well, you did it. If you're allowed to have a greatest of all time in the podcast,
I said that last
I'm
year.
allowed to have one.
Yeah, but did you put any thought into it, or just whoever wins gold is the greatest?
No, I put some thought into it.
Okay.
He's great. Isn't he not great?
He's great.
He's won multiple medals. How many medals has he won?
I don't have my list.
How many medals has Barshim won? I'm going to say he's won 1, 2. I'm going to say he's won 5.
3 medals, it says.
3?
Or 17, 19, 22. Oh, in Tokyo.
So he's won 4. He's won 4.
You talking about golds or
4 golds, 2 silver, 3 silver.
3 silvers. Yeah.
That's 3 world titles. It says
3 world titles. What about indoor? We're
not talking about indoor here. There's no indoor Olympics. Okay. Marathon. Gordon, you were there. Oh, no, wait, you weren't. I was there. All right. Godam Gebrselassie, 2:18.11. Another championship record. Amazing weather. Amazing weather again for the marathon this morning. And then somehow we have great weather again for short distance stuff in the evening. She moved away in the last K from Judith Career. They went out very aggressively, like they were on 216-ish pace for a while. Salpeter of Israel laid back, which ended up being a smart strategy. She runs 2:20.18. Chepnegich dropped out after the fast early pace. Yeshina dropped out because it was just going so quick. U.S. ran really well. They got 3.
Extremely well.
They got 3 in the top 8. Sarah Hall was 5th. Emma Bates was 7th, and Kira Amano was 8th. It was interesting when I was walking over to the marathon. I left, where I was staying. I was watching on TV, and then with about an hour to go, I walked over. It's not very far, so I didn't miss much of it. But as I walked out, I saw the leaders go by. At that point, maybe top 4 or 5, and then I just see a sea of cyclists come by on the other side of the road where there's cyclists and joggers, and then I hear it get louder and louder and louder. And then the Americans came. Like they had basically the cavalry with them and before them, and then they were just yelling and yelling and yelling. And then I saw Ryan Hall yelling it, cheering Sarah Hall on, and then hop back on his bike and then keep riding. There were definitely some quiet parts of the course, but there were also some spots where there were a lot of fans. And it's a Monday morning that this was taking place at, not a weekend, and there was still pretty good fan support out there. Bates gets a PR, 2:23.18, and D'Amato had 2 weeks notice for this race and still runs 2:23.
The alternate is getting top 8 in the world championship. That's showing a hell of impressiveness for the women's depth in the marathoning. We've known this now. We've seen what Shalane has done when she broke through and wins the New York City Marathon. We see Molly Seidel getting top 3 in the Olympics. The women's marathoning depth is unreal right now. They're always going to be in the mix. You can never be like on the men's side, you're always going to be, the odds are it's either Rupp or nobody.
Yeah.
And now Rupp is not what he was, 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah. But now you watch any major marathon and the top American women, you can always make an argument this could be the day that they win. Yeah. Or this could be the day they get top 3.
Oh, certainly medal. I mean, some fields, if they're so stacked, it's tough to make the argument that, hey, this many people are going to be able to falter for them to take advantage, because the top end is still a little bit, there's so many right now women who are 216, 217, 218. But I think you're right. The depth is what is impressive. So it was a fun morning out there on the streets of Eugene. Okay, we have 9 minutes left, so now you can talk about all these.
We have a deadline?
Yes. Yeah.
When do we do this?
We're letting Colt go at 9 p.m. Pacific tonight. So you tease the 200. You can talk about.
Well, let's talk about the women's 200 first.
Okay.
Jamaican women. I was surprised that Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce ran. Were you surprised?
No, I wasn't surprised.
Well, I thought she would scratch.
I did not think she was going to stretch.
Well, she's done that before.
She has. Just because a person does something one time doesn't mean they're always going to do that thing, which means Gordon.
That's not trash take. It's not trash take to think that Shelly-Ann's be like,
she
I'm going to
just
go
won the 100-meter gold.
Okay, it's not trash take. She's done it before.
Got to be honest.
Was it trash when she did it before?
I just wanted to use. Keep going.
All right. Well, I was surprised that she ran. She ran well. All 3 Jamaicans got the job done. Americans were looking pretty, good as usual. Like, again, it's the first round. It's going to be kind of hard for you really to take much from this round because semis is going to be really where we see who are the true podium contenders and who are kind of fringe finalists. Dina Asher-Smith getting second was an interesting thing. I don't know, but she lost to Tamara Clark. Tamara Clark is great for the U.S.
Well, Fraser-Pryce was second,
and
Elaine Thompson-Herah was second, so I wouldn't worry about who was second, really.
There was, who's that one who beat, was it Elaine Thompson, who beat Elaine Thompson-Herah?
Oh, that was Saney.
Yeah, Saney.
Oh, no. Saney beat Fraser-Pryce. She ran 21:98. She ran national record.
Keep an eye on Saney.
Yeah.
She broke 22 seconds. She may be someone who no one is thinking about who finds a way to get a medal. Like, I think I might tonight find her odds for medaling and just throw $50 on it because it's going to be really good odds.
You did lose a lot.
I did lose a lot of money. I'm down, but I'm not out. I'm still up, but I'm not all the way down. I'm going to gamble every event. We're only day 4, 40% of the way done.
Yeah.
We're going to make it happen. But yeah, on the women.
Let's go to the men's side.
Nothing much, but Abby Steiner gave a good interview. I thought you should check it out on YouTube. We talked to her about mental health, and she mentioned how the way she had, because she wasn't in the limelight at all last year. So this whole season for her has been new ever since she started, breaking records at Kentucky. Now, going pro with Puma, winning USAs, NCAAs. Asked about how she handles it. She says what she does is she deletes her Twitter account or Twitter app from her phone the week of races. So that was interesting. So I was like,
I did that like last summer or 2 summers ago.
Yeah, why'd you delete it?
Just was checking it too much.
Yeah.
And then I just looked at it on my computer a lot.
So you didn't
should have thrown away my computer.
You should throw away your computer.
Just take my laptop and throw it.
But it's just interesting hearing from an athlete who, you think, has clearly they have a good head on their shoulders because they're able to take their talent to extreme limits.
Yeah.
But even they need to find ways to help themselves. And her way was, hey, take the app, delete it from the phone, and then just it's not giving you notifications for a week when you do good or bad. So pretty interesting. So if you're tweeting at her, she's not going to see it till next week. So maybe put all those tweets into drafts,
or maybe
and then fire them off afterwards.
Everybody should take her advice, and we all delete Twitter from our phones. How about that?
Should we do if she wins Worlds?
Yeah.
Should we all delete our Twitter?
I mean, how about if anybody wins Worlds, we delete our Twitter?
You're
talking about a company Twitter or a personal Twitter? I'm just on
You're
it.
done with Twitter?
Just on it too much, and just you get yourself into this weird little algorithmic trap. We don't need to.
Kevin's
talk about social
old.
media.
Kevin's old.
Do you have fun? Do you feel good about yourself after being on Twitter? I don't.
No, that's not what it's for. It's not to make you feel good.
Well, okay. I like things that make me happy. Life is short. It's sunny outside. Let's enjoy our time with each other. Okay, men's 200.
Yeah,
please.
So
we got 4 minutes left.
Stop putting me on a countdown, all right, man?
I am.
It's a podcast. It's free flowing. It's the best way to conversate with our fans, with you.
There's no rush for me. No rush from me.
No, it seems no rush for Colt.
Colt's got to go. There's a rush for me. We got to get going. Let's go.
Your friend can wait. All right,
My friend, the content can't wait. I got to upload the interviews.
Men's 200.
Some of those went to some events this morning.
I'm trying to go right now, and you're distracting me. Look at you. This is firing back right at you. Men's 200. The rounds, pretty much everyone looked good. Fred Curley had like an interesting way of running. We're like, oh, what's going on with Fred Curley? But it was very intentional. He took the first 100 extremely easy and then closed well down the home stretch. So Curley looked good. All the Americans look good. Kenny B got second in his heat, I believe. Mm-hmm. So that was a little weird thing. But again, it's first round. The Jamaican women were getting second in their heat, so it's going to be okay. Some notable interviews, though. Joseph Fonboulet, talked to him about what his thoughts were of watching USAs, and like what it's like to not be able to go up against them. And he's excited to kind of go up against these people. And we mentioned he mentioned how if someone is going to pick their top 3 right now,
Yeah.
no one is really putting him in the top 3, right? They're going Knighton, Lyles, and then
he's in the but he should be outside of nobody's top 5.
Yes, exactly. But no one is like saying 100%. He's not 100% locked for a medal.
Right. But very few people are.
True. 2 of them are.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
But in any event, you have very few locks.
But it's going to be hard to break into the medal. You have to run a great. He's got to run 19.7, maybe 9 to medal. Right.
Think of it this way. Let's simplify it. Do you think Lyles is basically locked for a medal?
Yeah.
You think Knighton is locked for a medal? So basically, he needs to beat Fred Curley.
Correct.
You can just distill it down to that.
He needs to beat the world champion in the
100. Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's hard. That's hard.
But we asked him about that, and he says, like, hey, man, anything happened. You saw what happened to Devin Allen, false start. Things happen, and that, like, you just got to be ready for anything, and that, like, it's not already predetermined what's going to happen in this 200. Just because he's not an overwhelming favorite on paper doesn't mean he can't find a way to win. So I thought it was interesting. Asked him a little bit about what he thought of the Lyles Knighton, the point or not point that happened at USA's. Famulé trains with Knighton.
Yeah.
And he says, I wouldn't have done that. So he had a little bit of like, yeah, that's not me. I wouldn't have done that. And then we asked him if he's going pro, and he chose not to comment. He didn't want to answer that question. I'm guessing that means he likely is going pro, but he just doesn't have that all figured out and doesn't want to make a statement out. Maybe he'll change his mind, doesn't get a good enough offer, come back to school. He's still playing his cards, but there's a chance we might not see him in a Florida Gator jersey next year. And then there was Noah Lyles' interview.
Mm-hmm.
So Noah Lyles, we asked him about the meet. Today was his birthday.
Didn't he say belated? He said belated.
Belated? I don't know. He just turned 25, correct?
25. July 18th?
July 18th. Yeah, today's his birthday. So today was his birthday. He ran well. He said he loved the atmosphere. This is a perfect atmosphere for him. He's going to,
it was funny. He brought up no crowd in Doha, really. No crowd in Tokyo. This is the first time he's got the crowd. He's like, Tracktown USA, if you're a distance runner, they'll cheer for you. And if you're an American sprinter, they'll cheer for you. But listen, they're going to cheer for Noah Lyles.
Yes.
They're going to cheer for Noah Lyles. They're rallying behind anybody wearing that USA jersey, and Lyles gives them something to cheer about. So he's going to get some pretty loud applauses throughout the competition.
So he was hyped. He's excited. He said this is the most excited meet he's been, looking forward to. And then I asked him, so I was asking some other athletes. I asked Jonathan Jones this question. And Jonathan Jones, Texas runner, runs 400. He says the blocks are different here. Like the blocks are weird. I was like, okay. We asked Noah Lyles, and Lyles is like, yeah, they are weird. And then he took his mask and he was showing it on camera. The design of the blocks is very different. He does this in the second half of the interview. Well, so he kind of shows, using his mask, the difference that like the bottom portion is locked in a certain angle and then the top moves. So you basically, your heel, you have to kind of adjust how you put your heel into the block.
Different
what? Blocks.
Different than what? Blocks used where?
Everywhere else.
Even Diamond Leagues?
Yes.
National Championships?
Yes. He said they're different today.
Can you buy this?
I don't know. He said they're different. Everyone has been saying the blocks are weird. The blocks are weird. The blocks are weird.
Not everybody. 2 people.
Everyone that I asked, 2 for 2. I think you ask anyone, they're all going to say the same thing. No one's asking it. No one is saying, they ask how the race is. They don't ask how the blocks are. That's not a typical question. But if he's saying they're different, he's been at all the best meets in the world.
I know, but my question is he saying they're different than like regular season meets, or is he saying they're different than the Olympics?
They're different from all the meets.
Than Doha. They're different than the
Yes.
They have new blocks for 2022.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if that's true though.
It is true. Well, here's what he said. He said that he's showing he's showing with the.
I know he's saying that, but is he? This is a silly competition. But did he understand that you're saying ever, or is he saying they're different than like your regular meet? That's my confusion.
Okay,
we can ask again later.
So then we asked him about if you think this is a reason for the false starts, because obviously yesterday Devin Allen false starting. He said it's not on his mind because he has the worst start than everyone else in the field, so he's not worried about it. So he's like, okay, so it's a great line from Noah. We laughed at that. And then he said he trusts this. He says these sensors are world-class sensors. Like, this is the best of the best. This is what it is. Like, there's no questioning. So he didn't he was like, these are the rules. These are the best of the best. But he then did add, I know for sure not all the blocks that happen at the college meets, at other meets, have these world-class sensors. And basically he says, I've seen like 3 to 5 performances where they're false starting, but those sensors aren't catching it because it's not the official sensors.
Right.
And I thought she basically was saying some of these times that have been run outside of main Diamond League, championship style meets.
Well, we've seen a couple races this year that were like clear fault. That would have been negative.
Yes.
They should have been negative something or other. But yeah, if you're saying the sensors, look, I saw that. I don't know if we have the PJ Vizel. I do not trust these blocks. I'm going to be on record. I know you're normally the guy who goes in that direction, but I'm going to send this to Cole. Anyway, PJ, go to PJ. Yeah, exactly. So scroll down. He did a comparison of reaction time. There we go. That one right there.
Back up.
Yeah, pull that.
No, back up one more.
One more. Go one more up.
That
that one. Let's read this. Cole, can you read that out loud for us, please?
I can read it. So the number of reaction.
I kind of want Cole to read
it. Okay, Cole, you can read it. Cole, you can read it.
All right.
The crowd.
Number of reaction times recorded under 0.115 at World Championships, 100 meters, 100 meter hurdles, all rounds during the past decade. Same FS detection provider. 0 for 11.
FS being false start.
False start.
Yes. Yeah. 0 for 11, 13, 15, 17 had 2, 19 had 3, 22 had 25.
Okay. So we go 0. Let's look at these numbers here. 0, 0, 0, 2, 3, and then 25. And we're doing the men's 100 and the men's high hurdles because that's what's been contested. These are world championships. So this leads me to 2 conclusions. 1, track athletes have gotten insanely better at reacting since 2019, or there's a problem with the equipment here.
Yeah.
That's what that means. And the reason I thought of this, the reason I first thought, okay, that's weird, is when I heard that Allen's semi was 101, and then obviously the false start was 099. It's like, how often do you see a 101? That's crazy. Well, apparently we've seen over 20.115s alone in these championships. So I think there's some questions that need to be asked and answered. And I think when we get, it may not rear its head in the 200 because people are a little more cautious, but watch out in the women's high hurdles.
That's a good point. Ooh,
yeah.
Look at you. You're already putting out some bad juju out there.
What conclusion would we draw from this? What other conclusion can you draw from this?
Nothing but bad.
I mean, it'd be one thing if it was 7 or 8. I mean, that even would be
25 is a big number.
That's a big number. Again, maybe human beings have evolved.
No.
And we're just reacting quicker than we ever were before.
Whoa, you just scared.
Good reaction. All right. Maybe you're one of the 25.
Yes.
React that quick. That's all.
So yeah,
that's all I got.
The men's 200 it's gonna be great. Excited for the semifinals. We'll see what happens in the finals. Both the men's and women's 200 meter finals are the same day, which is what's going to be exciting to watch. What's happening tomorrow?
So day 5, no morning sessions, no marathons, but we have 4 finals on the track. Women's high jump, men's discus, men's 1500.
Ooh, that's going to be good.
Men's 400 hurdles.
Ooh, that's might be even better.
Additionally, you have the men's semis in the 200. So we'll get to see all these guys. Again, we can ask Lyles again about, you know what? Here's your homework. Can you clarify with him? Hey, you know what? No, here's what I want you to do.
You're not my teacher. You assigned me homework?
Yes. I'm your coworker.
I'm going to write this down.
I'm your editor.
Can I have paper to write it down?
Yeah. Well,
come on, let me write it down.
Okay. No, this is real. You don't even need to write it down.
I'm going to write it down.
You don't have a pen. There's no way someone like you carries a pen around. Here's what you ask Noah Lyles.
All right.
Hey, Noah, you don't have a pen. Hey, Noah, you can pretend to write.
I'll pretend to write it down.
What do you put on your phone?
I'm going to pretend to write it down.
When you said the blocks were different yesterday, did you mean from major championships and Olympics or from regular season track and field meets? Thank you, Gordon. That's what I want you to do. Anyway, so we have the men's.
I wrote it down.
And women's 200 semis, and then heats the women's 400 hurdles. So we're going to see Sadie McLaughlin, Dalal Hamid, Femke Bowl in action tomorrow. And we'll do a recap pod at the same time.
Update on my gambling. I went 0 for 4 today. It was not good. I lost $350. But it's okay because I have a 7-leg parlay that is still
Those never lose.
that is still going. So I went over 4 today, but I have a 7-leg parlay that is still going. Check out this. I'll tell you the 7-leg parlay I have.
Hold on.
Because we all need to cheer for this 7-leg parlay.
Good comment. Travis says COVID has improved reaction times.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So here's my 7-leg parlay. Krauser to medal. That happened. Fraser Price to medal. That happened. Holloway to medal. That happened. El Bakali to get gold. That happened. I just need Allman, Ingebrigtsen, and Dos Santos to all medal, and I win.
Allman, Ingebrigtsen, and Dos Santos to medal, and you win. And what do you win? How much?
I win $94.94.
Oh, wow. That was a lot of winning for $94. But you need some wins.
I need some wins. I'll take a win anywhere I can go.
So, yeah, and that looks like
And I have $200 on Kerr to, if I win, I'll win 300 if he medals. I got money on Dos Santos to gold. I got the high jump medal. I'm probably gonna lose, but it's been a fun ride. Hopefully you guys are still riding or not riding with me. This has been a fun time. I'm only down a few bucks.
I was 2-0 in my bets today. I want to bring that up. First bet, as I mentioned, the fake Kipyegon bet. Didn't even put any money on it. That's how confident I was. I put my own fitness. Second bet, we were talking about whether Knighton would win his first round heat. I was so confident. I put $50 up against Gordon's $1. So I had to pay Gordon $50 if Knighton lost. He did not. So Gordon owes me a crisp $1 bill.
I will.
And it better be crisp. Colt, do you want to place any bets via Gordon?
Ooh, I probably would have bet on Krauser, but that's already happened. Let me look.
We should have done this. We should have had a competition. Colt versus Gordon.
He bets with fake money. I bet with real money.
No, you both. Well, or we could have just done hypotheticals basically and totaled it up, and just one person who's been watching for track for a decade, like yourself, and then
decade. It's been over 2 decades.
Colt, who was a JV or junior high track.
That's right. Yeah, 200 meters. Junior varsity.
I know. I'm going to get all my money back on this 800 bet. I know that. That's what it's all coming. Moolah is going to get me so much more moolah. It's going to be perfect.
Oh wait, when is? Okay, we have tomorrow. We
got time. We got 2 days. We got 2 more days.
Okay, we're doing the 800 men's 800 prediction contest because I think our listeners and viewers are smart, but I think literally none of us are going to be able to guess the top 3 in the men's 800. We need to come up with an appropriate prize.
I have a prize.
Oh, what is it?
10% of my winnings.
You shouldn't have Venmo it to him.
Yeah.
What if you lose? No, that's not good.
If I lose, they get nothing.
Yeah.
But if I win $1,000, they get $100.
Well done. All right, we'll leave it there. Thanks to Colt for producing. Thanks everybody for watching live in the chat, and those of you who caught the pod afterwards on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts. We appreciate you.
Like, subscribe,
and we'll talk to you tomorrow.